Welcome everyone to today's Ask Me Anything session of the ECMWF Summer of Weather Code, and thank you for your interest in the program. We have organized this session with the aim to give you a bit more information about how the program works. But the main part of this of the next 30 minutes will be actually to have a conversation with former participants and also with former mentors. So they will also share their experience, how they experienced their participation in the ECMWF Summer of Weather Code last year. So thanks again and welcome everyone. I will just guide you quickly through a general overview of the program. Again, this session is also not only us telling you what a program is. This is really also an opportunity for you to ask questions you have about the program in general or to some specific challenges that are currently published on GitHub. And so if you have questions, please go to slido.com and enter the hashtag ESoC 2022. Or we will also share in the chat in this Zoom meeting also a direct link to the Slido. So, but all the questions we kindly ask you to go to Slido and post them there. So, sorry, this was a bit fast. This was very fast. So ECMWF Summer of Weather Code is ECMWF's innovation program, which brings innovation and open source developments to the earth science community. And the program has started in 2018. And since then has continuously been provided and run every summer for the past 5 years. And this year, we already have the 5th edition, and the program is brought to you by ECMWF, the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasts, and also Copernicus. And so how Summer of Weather Code works, there are in total 4 steps from the application period to the final ESoC day. And the first step is the application period, which we are in at the moment. So we started this year the applications on 1st of March by publishing challenges on GitHub, and the application phase is still going until the 15th of April, until when you have the opportunity to submit proposals to a challenge you are interested in. And so I'm sorry. So during this phase, we really ask you to go to GitHub, to browse through the challenges, to also choose a challenge. This is also an opportunity for you to already interact with the mentors, which will, in case you're selected, which will also mentor this challenge. So this is also an opportunity for you to tailor your proposal. So if there is some things you are not clear about, what the mentors or what a challenge is about, or how you also could propose your solution, this is your chance now to already ask questions on GitHub and directly interact with the mentor of the challenge. And please remember the 15th of April, because this is this year when the application period closes. Sorry. So what makes a good proposal? This is like we always suggest, like this is also a core or the fundamental part of a Summer of Weather Code, is that it doesn't have to be the longest proposal. We actually also value shorter proposals, but please be precise in what you propose. Please have a brief description of the problem. You could then propose your solution, including the softwares you would use, the services or data that would be involved. And also, as from previous experiences, if you already include into your proposal also a detailed plan about milestones and deliverables, so how you would structure your development progress and your project, this would be very helpful. And also timeline is very key, because the coding phase is only 4 months. So having a good plan ahead is really helpful for you, and also the mentors who in the end will evaluate your proposal. So the second step is then the announcement of the selected proposal. So after the 15th of April, we will have two weeks of evaluating all the proposals that have been submitted. And then on the 29th of April this year, you will get a notification whether your submission has been successful. And if you're successful, or if your submission has been successful, then the week after, on the 3rd of March, we will start with the coding phase. And so here on the 29th of April, you will get an email from us if you were successful in being part of Summer of Better Code. And then the coding phase starts, and the coding phase is always going from May to end of August every year. And during this phase, it's 4 months of where you will team up with experts from ECMWF and Copernicus to develop your proposed solution. And because it is also about open source development, we ask you also to host your developments on GitHub, so that also others can then follow your developments during this time. And then the last step is after the coding period, after you have delivered your agreed deliverables, then on the 28th of September, at the moment, this is the date where we will have a final ESoC day. And this is a celebratory day, a celebratory day and closure of the program, where the ESoC teams will be invited to present their project results to the outside world. And this is at the moment set for the 28th of September. So some reasons why you should apply. So first of all, you join a growing community of open source developers in the earth science community. You have a chance to working on cutting edge open source projects, and this is also what we highlight, because this is one of the hearts of ECMWF Summer of Better Code, is you have a really good opportunity to learn from mentors from ECMWF and Copernicus, to learn about current activities that are going on in ECMWF. And so this is a really good way to get contacts and learn from them. And if your developments are successful after the coding phase, you will also get awarded a stipend of £5,000. And so, yeah, with this, I just invite you to browse through GitHub, also go to the website to get some more information. And I would now stop the screen sharing, and I would invite Paulo and Luca also to open their cameras. Welcome, Luca, and welcome, Paulo. Both were part of the project last year on machine learning for pollution monitoring. Paulo is a mentor working at ECMWF, and Luca is a participant or successful participant who has been selected last year for Summer of Better Code. Hello, Paulo and Luca.
Hello, Julia. Thank you very much for having us.
Hello everyone. Hello, Julia. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, thank you both for being with us today. So could you, I would like to start with Paulo. Could you explain the project you proposed last year, so the challenge, and also what motivated you to propose this challenge for Summer of Better Code?
Right. Yeah. machine learning is a growing topic in Earth system science, and yeah, last year it was the first time for me to participate as a mentor to the European Summer of Weather Code. It has been a great experience. And what drive me to propose a project was really the interest to see machine learning applied to some of the really difficult topics. So one of the challenges, for instance, to predict the surface temperature in the range of what is observed by satellites. So we tasked the team really to develop a machine learning that is able to reproduce the satellite skin temperature, so what we really observed from space. And yeah, sure enough, the machine learning has given a very unexpected and very surprising results. It's beating, for instance, some of the climate reanalysis in reproducing the skin temperature, which is really a big achievement. So yeah, that was really an interesting experience also for me personally, to learn more from the team.
Okay, thank you, Paolo. And Luca, could you explain your proposal? So you read the challenge proposed by Paolo, but then what did you actually propose as a solution, and what did you work on during the coding phase?
So the project was very interesting and was a unique chance to apply machine learning in a real case scenario, because it's very difficult today to have the access on really big data with good quality. And usually you can study this thing, but apply in real data sets is not easy. So it was a good chance to do that. And in my proposal, we basically have two main steps. The first one was the data exploratory analysis of the possible data sets that we could have access to, because based on the target data that we have, it was important to understand which proxy data we can use in our project, because we have to face a different granularity of data, different time series of data, different variability. So it was really important to understand which data set we could use for the project. And the second step was to apply machine learning different models once we selected the data sets for the project. So we applied different models, we compared the results, and we understand better every time with the caveats of the models, the possibility of each models. And this was a huge help to understand really how different models work in prediction time series analysis. So at the end, it was useful also to understand all the characteristics of different machine learning models.
Okay, great. This sounds really nice. So what, Paolo, when you read the proposal from Luca and also all the other submissions, so what was important for you when you selecting the proposal?
Yeah, I think it's really important the clarity of the topic, the way the topic is developed, and the idea. The feasibility is also very important, so that you propose something that is actually doable in the 4 months that there are in terms of available time. So yeah, the clarity of the proposal is really what makes me really confident that then it can be delivered, because if it can be really explained in a simple manner and through a set of well-defined steps. So I think in the proposal that I reviewed, I was really also favorably impressed when there is really a step, a well-presented graphic for the step of the project, how we go from kickoff to deployment of a first phase, and then up to final deployment of the idea. So yeah, I think that those are the two key elements. So the the clarity and the stepwise approach to complete the challenge.
Yeah, and how would you both describe your teamwork or your collaboration? So how did this work during the coding phase?
Should I start? Yeah. So basically, it was very much a teamwork experience. So the group has interacted through regular meetings, and there were basically progress meetings of weekly frequency or bi-weekly frequency. And in those meetings, there was really discussion, I mean, presenting the advances and discussion how to solve problems and how to go forward. And sometimes showing also curious results or unexpected results, and then having a follow-up email or discussion to really understand what goes on, because it's new data, it's a new experience for us as well as for the participating team. So I think very much a teamwork.
I
Luca,
agree.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, Luca.
I agree with everything Paulo said, and I think if I have to give an advice, it's important to establish like two channel of communication. So one should be internal within your team members, because you have to communicate more frequently, and especially you have to organize different phase of your work, and one channel with your mentor that is really the leading guide to every times refers to understand which point we are, what we discussed last time. So it's really important to have this distinction between the two communication. But overall, it was a very nice experience also in terms of communication, because we had this bi-weekly meeting. So it was really, really nice. And every time the discussion was very fruitful and interesting.
So Luca, how much or how many hours per week did you work on the project?
So my team was formed by 4 members. So I would say that each member worked in the project around 3-4 hours per week, so 12 hours in total for the team. But I would say that there were also team composed by only one person. So if you are alone, you have less time to dedicate to coordination. So probably you will need to work probably even less. But if you are 4, you can split your work, but you have to increase the time that you dedicate to coordination. So there is this trade-off to accept.
Yeah, okay. And also another question to Luca. So has ESoC been beneficial for you on a professional or personal level? Could you also integrate it into what you do professionally or you're personally interested in?
Absolutely. So I am a PhD candidate from Politecnico di Milano, and I'm actually working in artificial intelligence applied to construction and built environment. And I was doing some work on the air quality monitoring of our cities, and this challenge was very, very relevant for my study. And it was a good opportunity to work with the as I said, with real data, and especially learn from experts. So, and also from my team members, because we were like a multidisciplinary teams. We had like computer science, mathematical engineer, physicist. So I learned a lot both from the mentor and my team members. And this helped me hugely also in my work as PhD.
Okay. This sounds really great. So now just a final question, or if you have something additionally you would like to give like an additional advice, or you would like to share maybe an anecdote from your project, Paulo or Luca. Yeah.
Yeah, I can really encourage the aspect of curiosity. So try to approach the challenge also with a good dose of curiosity, because these are really the edge of what we are developing. So yeah, I would think that a key ingredient is really the curiosity with which you approach the challenge, and that's also to maintain that that spirit throughout the 4 months of the challenge. That's always helpful, because it brings to ask good questions. So there are no questions that are you know, not good or not worth asking. So yeah, it's a learning process both ways, for the mentors and for the team applying. So yeah, my suggestion is approach it with a good dose of curiosity for the outcomes.
I have also an advice and a little anecdote. So my advice is for the starting phase, ask questions on GitHub, because one of our team member, Vidur, we enter in contact thanks to the GitHub questions, because he was from India, so he cannot participate alone. So I write an email to him and we enter in contact just by reading his question that was very relevant to the project. So I thought it was like a good team member, and he revealed to be a good member. So it's really important to ask the questions, also because the questions on GitHub help really to understand better the project and to design a better proposal.
I think this is a great advice, and also a very nice anecdote. What you say is like, you not only entered or got new knowledge, but also additionally like a new team member and contact, and extended your network. So that's really nice to hear. So we have some questions on Slido, and I would now share my screen, and then we can go to go through some of these questions. Does this work here? Okay. Okay, good. So I think we also have some questions that are specifically to challenges that are submitted this year, and there could be even a chance that the mentor for the challenge is here, so we can see. So the first question here is on if previous year participants can still participate in the ESoC 2022, and the response is absolutely yes. So it's not about that everyone has just one chance. It's really about the best proposal and the best proposal and solution you propose to the challenge. So absolutely, feel free to submit again a proposal. There's no limitation to it. Then another question is if the finished proposals can be shared with the mentors before submitting, and if this is recommended. And we had these questions also in previous editions, and this will not be so they will not be reviewed in beforehand, because this will be just also unfair to others. So we believe that opening up the opportunity already with a direct engagement with mentors on GitHub, asking questions, is already a very helpful opportunity, which, as Luca said, already encouraged you, and I also personally would encourage you to do this before, because with this you can really tailor the proposal, but we will not review your proposal before the submission. So it will only go into review process after the application period. And yeah, so there are challenges. So the question is if challenges are open to participants. Oh, sorry, now it was probably upvoted. So I think this we were here. So the question is if challenges open to participants are also outside of the European Union. There the answer is that you have to specifically have a look to the challenge on GitHub, and if there are any additional eligibility requirements, then it is stated clearly on the GitHub issue. So there are projects where we have these eligibility criteria, and so you really have to double check on GitHub on the project itself. And so this is specifically to one of the challenges. I will go to
I would like to say that I am here. I'm a mentor for this challenge, the 31.
Okay,
so I can answer if, yeah.
No, perfect, great. So we will go to these questions. I will just go through the general questions before, but it's great that you're here and you can respond then. So another question is here, what computational resources will be available for the challenges, like access to cluster hours, use of collab environments? So there are some challenges you will need cloud computing, for example, or processing and processing environment. And if your challenge requires this, we will also make sure that you will have adequate access to software and tools that you can then also use, or processing capacity. So specifically, we also collaborate with two cloud environments, the Wikio, which is from the Copernicus, which is one of the Copernicus data and information access services, and also we have another cloud resources inside ECMWF, the European Weather Cloud, and there are definitely resources available if your project requires them. And then, okay, so there's another question. So someone is asking how the proposal is sent. So please go to on our website, and you can then, there's an apply button. And then in the application, we ask you some basic things like your name and your GitHub profile, and if you work alone, or also the name of your team members. And there we also ask you to send or just to attach the proposal in PDF format. It is done through the application on the website. So
yes, Julia, just one second, because at the moment it's true that the submit button is only under each of the 3 streams. So you have to scroll down in the website. After the webinar sessions, it will be much more visible. Right after the banner, there will be a bigger button to apply with written apply now.
Okay, yeah. So thanks, Ruben. So yeah, basically, if you go there in the next days, or in after next week, then it will be more prominent. Now you have to scroll down, and you will see under each stream where you can apply. So then there's another question, if there is a requirement that you have to be enrolled in an academic institution, and the response to this is absolutely no. So you don't have to be enrolled as a student, but you can be. So like Luca, he combined it also with his PhD research, but we also already had participants from companies, or just from companies, so not being enrolled in an institution or in an academic context. So it's not a requirement. And so this is then, okay. So here is another question, who about the intellectual property rights, and if you can use it commercially afterwards. So I also propose you to go to the website under terms and conditions, because there we have specifically outlined also a section about the IPR. But like just as a summary, you will own the IPR for the developments you do, but we ask you, or you, like, by participating into the program, you will grant a license to use your developments to ECMWF and Copernicus. And but the more details you will find also on the website under terms and conditions. But you will own the IPR, but you will grant a a license to ECMWF and Copernicus. And then I think now I would like to, I start with the questions to challenge 31. And so the first question is, what will be the most difficult thing to do in challenge 31 flood forecasting? The power of citizen science and should be addressed in the proposal. So I think it's about what is the most difficult thing to do for this challenge.
Yes, there could be many things that could be challenging with this proposal. This is something very new, like what was said before. It's very much at the fringe of what is known. But one thing that I can think about right now straight away that will be very challenging is to do the mapping. What I mean by that is that you have to map the crowdwater point to the GLOFASS and EFASS network. And this will be certainly challenging because many crowdwater points are for very small streams that will not be in GLOFASS or EFASS. So you have to figure out, like, to find the crowdwater points that you can also find in GLOFASS or EFASS. And this might not be straightforward. But there will be other challenges. So for instance, those are crowdsourced data. So it happens often that users will make mistakes. For instance, they're expected to take a picture, but also to write down a number for the variation of water level, but many of them don't do that. So there's a lot of cleaning up of the data, and it can be, it's really not straightforward. So I would say that there are many potential challenges.
Okay, thank you, Marie-Amélie. The next question is about variation data is available from the Crowdwater platform. Is it water level data on the same day or different days?
Be on the same day, but that would be very surprising. So you have to remember that those are people, anybody really, who happen to pass by a stream, a nearby stream of water, and they decide to take a picture and to upload the data in Crowdwater. So it will be for most of the data points, the measurements are very sparse in time. So it's very occasional. So it could happen that you would have many measurements on the same day. That's theoretically possible, but that's very unlikely. So for most points, it will be some measurements on random days, all different random days.
Okay, and another question, could we add the use of central data to the proposal? Not explicitly mentioned.
Well, it's not explicitly mentioned because the main purpose of this challenge is to figure out how to use crowdsourced data, right? Because we have this fairly large collection of data that could be useful, but we're not doing anything with it. So the main purpose of this challenge is to really focus on data, the crowdsourced data for hydrology, and to figure out if they could be used for verification of official forecasts. Now, it's not impossible to add something. If you want to also use Sentinel data or whatever other data, it's possible, but the focus has to be on Crowdwater data and crowdsourced data.
Okay, and then we have one final question again to you, Marie-Amélie. Is there any label data regarding the quality of the crowdsourced data? Trusted users, user ranking system?
That's a good question. To the best of my knowledge, there is no official label, but there is a validation system. You can go and I encourage you to do so. You can go on the Crowdwater website and you will see that there is also a game. And the purpose of the game, the main purpose, is to validate the data. So basically, it's another crowdsourcing element, if you want. So people who participate in the game, they are shown 10 pairs of pictures. One picture, well, the first one is the original picture with the original scale, and the other one is a new picture, and they have to rate the variation of water level between the new picture and the initial one. So the idea is that if a lot of people participate and everybody agrees on what is the variation of water level, then it's probably the right answer, because everybody agrees on that answer. But then if you look at the data, because the database is available on the Crowdwater website, you can go and download that today if you want. I don't think that there is any label there, but the creator of Crowdwater, Jan Siebert, is also part of the team of mentors, so he could probably provide that information in some way. And if you have any other question, feel free to write them on GitHub. I receive those questions and I answer them.
Okay, great, Marie-Amélie, for responding to the questions, also joining today. So we have reached the end of our session today. We hope it was very informative and you enjoyed also the different insights from Gian Paolo and Luca, from previous participants. And you also see like there's this option to really also ask specific questions to current challenges. So there is another Ask Me Anything session planned for next week. So if you have colleagues who missed today, feel free also to share the link and the information for next week. And other than that, thank you all for joining today. Again, a specific thank you to Gian Paolo and Luca for being with us today, and also Marie-Amélie for responding to the questions. And I wish everyone a nice remaining day, and please go to GitHub and ask your questions there and directly engage with the mentors. Thank you for joining, and bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.